Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're making spaghetti and meatballs. As usual, we start off with me laying out my ingredients just so I make sure I have everything that I need to make a perfect meal for my little family. Right. Obviously, we start off by lighting up our stove, and I've already chopped and prepped my butternut. So what you want to do is just peel it, cut it up into small little pieces, and then add half a cup of water at a time. I add a little bit of water at a time and then I add if needed. Then I add a teaspoon of sugar, a teaspoon of butter, and a bit of salt. Right here you see me prepping my bread. I'm just going to put 2 slices of bread into the oven and toast them up. You're going to see what I want to do with these a little bit later on, yeah? Next thing, you want to get 2 types of meat. Ideally, I'd say get ground beef and ground pork. It just sort of like layers up your meatball. But I only had beef, though I had lean beef and like a heartier kind of beef. Then you want to add 2 eggs. Okay. I was trying to be a master chef here. I ended up putting eggs all over my hands, but anyway, my hands are clean. It's okay. We move. Next thing, you want to add half a diced onion and half a diced green pepper. Remember that toast I made before? I was making homemade breadcrumbs because I realized I'd run out. Next, you want to add all your spices. And today I decided to go with crushed chili, steak and chops, and barbecue, and of course mixed herbs. You know this. I then also add a teaspoon of ground garlic. And we put in some salt because you don't want your meatballs to be tasteless, of course. Always layer the salt to layer the flavors. I prefer to mix with my hands. I go in with my hands, make sure everything is nicely mixed in and combined so that every single bite of your meatball is like yum. Now I had to roll these off camera because, as you know, at the moment I'm using my phone to record. I don't have a tripod, but basically I put a bit of cheese in the middle and rolled up my meatballs. Next thing, into a pan with hot oil, I add my meatballs just so I can brown them on the stove top. Okay, you want to put them in your pan, turn them on all sides, make sure they're nice and brown on all sides before you remove them from the pan. This step works because no one wants whitish looking meatballs. It helps with the color of your dish at the end. So as you can see, I've been turning them and flipping them. Just turn them and flip them, make sure all sides are brown before you move them onto your oven tray. Now all my meatballs are browned and ready to go into the oven. So preheat your oven to, I preheat mine to 250, and just let your meatballs broil for 15 to 20 minutes depending on the size. I had really big ones, so I put them in for 20 minutes. Next I go in with onions and green peppers. Just fry them up as the base of your gravy. Add your spices, the same spices you added inside your meatballs. You don't want to have too many confusing flavors in your dish. So it's the same barbecue spice, steak and chops, crushed chili, a bit of garlic. Fry that all together and make sure it's really nice and yum. You know how it is. I believe in frying my spices. I never boil spices. Next, you want to add a packet of tomato paste. This is optional. You could use fresh tomatoes. I like tomato paste just because it adds a deeper color, and I like the taste of tomato paste. I feel like meatballs are better with tomato paste or puree rather than like fresh tomatoes or chopped up tomatoes, and also it gives you a smoother gravy. Next, you want to add a bit of water to just add more liquid into your pot. Stir that around, make sure it's not all thick and gloopy. Mix it around, stir it until you feel like it's a good consistency. Don't add too much water. Don't mind my little light there, guys. You know Escom always decides to go off as I'm filming. So I had to look for like backup lighting to make sure I could see what I was doing and so that you could see. So yeah, I just keep stirring my sauce until it thickens up a little bit. Then I set it aside while I wait for my meatballs to cook. At this point, you can see the cheese coming out of my meatballs. Like, guys, look at the yumminess in this tray. The cheese was melting out and pouring out, so you have to know these must be some really good meatballs. Next, you want to get some water to a boil. Add a bit of salt, actually a lot of salt, because it's pasta. Most of the water is going to remain behind. The salt is going to remain behind in the water actually. Add your spaghetti and just let it cook through. After a few minutes, I've added my meatballs to my sauce. It's boiling together nicely. It's cooking through together nicely. And I kind of just let it simmer so the sauce covers the meatballs, gets into the meatballs, and that's basically it. I served mine with butternut because I always need to have a vegetable with my meals. Me having a little one in the house and all, you need to get in those veggies, you need to get in those vitamins. But that's it, guys. A really quick, easy, hearty, yum, warm meal for you and your family to enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.